Everyone, today we will revise Module 4, the last unit in this term. In Module 4, we discussed Planet Earth, Students Book, page 53 to 67. Okay. Revise the main objective of our lesson. Revise future tenses, revise nouns, articles, determiners, revise conditional sentences type 1 and 2, and some words and writing tasks. For writing, we have for 4A, write an email, paste in prompts. Your friend sent an email for you informing you about an environmental problem, so you will give him your opinion. So prompts. Number 2, or for writing for B, writing an article discussing one of the most important problem our planet is facing. Study confused words, some lexical set, animals and units of measurements, geographical features, and new words from passages. Grammar. For grammar, we study different things. We study future tenses in different cases. We study conditional sentences. When I say conditional, I mean also here if, type 1 and 2, and also study, number 3, study the articles, a and an and the, and then study nouns and determiners. Let's start talking about future tenses. When I talk about future tenses, I have different forms. Number 1, future will. When I say future will, that means I'm going to use will, and after will, the base form, okay, of the verb. This is number 1. Also, you have future going to. Also, for future going to, you have to use going to after it, the base form. What is the difference between them? When can I use number 1 or number 2? Let's start with number 1, future will. In different cases, let's look to them now. I will be on time. I will be on time. You have will. After will, you have be, the base form. So, for promises, when you promise to do something, okay, you use will. So, for promises. Number 2, I think it will rain. Here I use will. Why will? Because I'm not sure. I think, maybe, perhaps, probably, not, I'm not sure. I think that, I believe that, okay? So here, for predictions, okay? So when you predict something, okay, you can use will for prediction. Usually like think, like believe, like maybe, okay? You are not sure. Number 3, I will go with you. Wait for me. So this is spontaneous decision. For spontaneous decision. What I mean with spontaneous decision, student? I mean with it on the spot decision, okay? You just decide, okay, to it. You just decide to it, okay? Spontaneous decision. This is the meaning of this, or on spot decision. Okay, I will go for you. Wait for me. I will go with you. Okay, number 3, I will not speak to you. Here I will not. This is for threat, okay? for threat and warning. For threat and warning, you are going to use will, okay? So this is for threat, okay? For threats and warning, okay? So again, for promises, number one, for prediction, for spontaneous decision when you decide to do something, okay? Or for threats. This is for will. What about going to? Be careful first. For going to, you should use be. You should use be before going to. What I mean with be? Maybe am, maybe is, maybe are, according to the subject, okay? So, be going to and the base form when in these two cases. Number one, I'm going, like you have going to and before it am. Why am? Because you have I. I'm going to study, base form. Why? Because here you have a plan. So when you prepare for something or arrange for something, you are going to start to use going to, future going to. Number two, look, it's going to rain. Here I used going to, okay, and I use is because you have it, and then going to and then rain base form. Why? Because you have here evidence, okay? It's not prediction. It's you have here evidence. Look, okay, you can see the cloud. So here we have evidence. So if you have evidence, you are going to use going to. 3. Future perfect. When I say future perfect, I mean what? What do you think? When I say future perfect, I will use will. After will, of course, when I say perfect, I mean have or has. But here, because you have will, you should use have, the base form, okay? So will have, and then the past participle of any verb, the third form. So this is a future perfect. How we can make it? When can I use future perfect? Future perfect, student, usually we use it when I talk about action that will be completed before specific time or another action in the future. Okay? How? Let's look. I will have finished. Here you have will, then you have, then the third form. Okay? I will have finished my homework. So when? By the time. When I say by, I mean before. Before the time you arrive. So I'm planning that I will have finished my homework before I will have finished this one and complete it in the future before the specific time happen, before you arrive. Number 4, future progressive. In future progressive, you will have will, and progressive means ing, but I can't use ing directly after will. After will, I will have be, base form. Usually after will, be, the base form. And the main verb will be with the ing, the base form, take ing. Okay, so you will have what? Will, then be, then verb plus ing. This is a future progressive. When can I use a future progressive? To talk about actions that will be in progress at specific time in future. Okay, like when I say I will be working, you have will. You have be, you have ing. I will be working. When? At a specific time in the future. So at this time, exactly specific time. Okay? So here you should have a specific time in the future, not just tomorrow. At this time tomorrow. At 9 tomorrow. Okay? Specific time in future. Conditional sentence, another grammar. When I say conditional sentence, I mean what? If. You know, we have different kind of if. We have zero if, we have type 1, type 2, type 3. Today we will talk about 0 and type 1 and type 2 just, okay? So I will say, I'll start with number 1, if or when, anyone, you can say if or when, it's the same, okay? They are the same. If means when. Then present, So here you have an if clause, you have a present. When the other part or in the main clause, you have a present. Why present? Because this is zero conditional. What I mean with zero, let's look. Zero conditional used to talk about general truth. So when you talk about general truths or facts, you are going to use zero if. What's I mean with zero if? If or when, then present, okay? If, can you see, or when you heat ice, this is the clause or if clause. You know, if clause have subject, heat the verb, and the complement. What's the verb here? Present. If you heat ice, as you know, this is present, heat. What is the result? It melts. It melts. So also present. So in if clause present, in the result clause present. If present. Why? Because this is fact. This is general truth. If you heat ice, it melts. So here, if present, zero. Number 2, if or when plus what? Present, okay? So yes, we have a present with if, but, okay? Look, what do you have in the other part? You don't have a present here. You have what? Will. But as you know, will is the present, okay? Form, not the past. The past is would. So you will have will or modal verb, any modal verb, like for example, can, okay? Or imperative. What I mean with imperative? Order. I ask you to do something. So here you have one of these cases. Whether, number 2, you have if plus present. In the other part, maybe you have will or any modal verb, or maybe you have imperative. 2 cases. Will or any modal verb, or the imperative. Let's study it now more. Conditional sentence, we call this part type 1. So it is what? Type 1. Used for something which is what? Which is probable in the present or future. It's something normal, okay? Probable, can happen in the present or future. Like when I say, if I see James, okay? Look, you have here if. So after if see present, the result, what do you have in result? Will. So if I see James, I will give him his book back. So you can see him. This is something probable. Okay, something probable may happen. So if I see James, I will give him his book back. Okay. Another case, if you go to the supermarket, if, and then you have present. Okay. So until now, you have an if present and also here present. Okay, but here you have will. This is the first case, or any modal verb, can or whatever. But here now, if you go to the supermarket, what? You don't have here will, you have what? Buy some milk. What is this? Imperative. This is imperative or order. If you go to the supermarket, buy some milk. Bring some chocolate. I ask you to do something. Okay, so this is type 1. something probable, normal to happen. Okay, so you are going to use what? If, present, will, or the other case imperative. Third and the last one, if or when, yeah, but here you have what? Past, the second form of the verb, the past. So what do you think here you have? Will or would? Of course, no. The past from will, would. The past from can, could. So if or when plus past plus would or could. Okay, so past. Do you think that means that this thing happened and finished in the past? Of course, no. It happens in a present or a future. Okay, let's study it. It's used, we call it conditional sentence type 2. So we call this part type 2. What does type 2 mean? Used for unreal, okay? Unreal or imaginary situation. Just I imagine something. It didn't happen. I imagine something, and this something not probable, maybe impossible to happen in a present or a future, not the past. Okay, I talk about something unreal or just I imagine something. Like when I say if, you have here if, after if, had, past. If I had money, I would, past, also the past from will. I would buy a farm in the country. Is this something probable? Of course, no. I just what? Imagine it. So it's something imaginary. Okay, imaginary situation. I just imagine what can I do if I had this money. Another one, you could. The past from can. You could lose some weight if you went. The past from go. So here past. Here I changed the order. I put if in the middle. When if in the middle, small and no comma. But when if in the beginning, capital, and of course you will use comma. Okay? So you could lose some weight if you went on a diet. But did you do that? Did it happen? No. Okay? So I just imagine what will happen if I do that. So this is number 2. Okay? Or what we call it, type 2. For example, another kind, if I say student, if, and usually I use this one for giving advice. If I were you, what will happen? Comma, because here I start with if, so it is capital, and I use comma in the middle. I would study more. Okay, really, if I were you, I would study more. Let's look to this sentence. Is it type 1 or type 2? Of course, type 2, yes. As you can see, you have if, okay? And with if you have which tense? The past, yes. So if, and here you have were, the past from are. If I were you, I would, the past, I would study more. Why I use here the past? Because it's something impossible. I can't, okay? I'm just what imagine. If I were you, I give you advice. What can I do? I give you my opinion, okay? So if I were you, I would study more. And be careful, student, usually we use here what? Were, with this kind, because I just imagine. So in the past, I use were, usually, not the singular, okay? Not was, were. The past, whether singular or plural, you are going to use were, because you just imagine, you give your opinion, okay? And unreal things or situation. Now, let's discuss something else. Articles a and an. You know articles a and an and the. But let's start with a and an. Usually a and an for singular nouns. For singular, because a and an means one. Okay? When can I use them? Number one, we use a and an when we mention something for the first time. I use a or an. I bought what? A book yesterday. The first time, a book, any book. Okay? As you can see, a book. Because B is consonant, you use A. But with vowel, you will use an. You know vowel, A, E, I, O, U. Okay, with the vowel and with the consonant, A. So here B consonant, so A. I bought a book yesterday. Because I mentioned any book, and this is for the first time. Okay. Now number two, when we don't refer to specific thing, anyone, not specific thing. Okay. Like when I say there is a lamb. Okay, in the room, not specific, anyone, okay, in the room. Number three, the last one, or number three, before occupation, jobs, usually I say what? A or an. He is a doctor. He is a teacher. He is an engineer. So usually before occupation, we use a or an. What about the? The before something specific, all already mentioned something specific. Okay, not anyone. Or you have mentioned it before. Like when I say I have go to the dentist. Here I mean specific one, not the job. Okay, specific one. Number two, I bought a book and a pen. Look, this is the first time, so a pen yesterday. Anyone. But here the pen, I say here the, because here specific one, the one that I choose it before, or I talk about it before. So here we mention it for the first time, something mentioned before, so it become the pen was expensive. B, for unique things, special things like the sun, the moon, the earth, because they have one only. I would say the sun, not a sun, okay? Because it's unique, something special. The sun heats the earth, something unique. We use the also for things that are defined, okay? How? By using who or which and so on. So when I say house, I say here the house. Why I say the house? Because I define it with which, with this clause. The house, which is next to ours, is very big, okay? Or for names of rivers, seas, and oceans, like when I say the Indian Ocean, the Red Sea, the Nile River. Also, we use the with the superlative. Remember superlative, the adjectives? When I say the biggest, the smallest, okay? The heaviest, that's it. Ahmed is the, I use here the, usually with the superlative when you add est, the tallest boy in the class. Let's go to talk about a determiner, many, much, and the other words or the nouns. Many, much, what's the difference between them? Many is used for countable. This is the first thing, okay, for countable. Okay, this is for many. Many or a few. So say many or a few for countable, okay? We have answered many questions. Questions, countable, okay? so many. He has got only a few friends. Few friends, countable. So few or a few. Okay, so many and few for countable. Of course, sometimes we use a, we mean that it's few but enough. It gives you the meaning of enough. Yeah, I have a few friends, but they are enough for me. Another thing now, much. Much is used for uncountable noun. Uncountable, okay? Much and also little. Much and little for uncountable noun. I don't have much time. I'm talking about time. Time uncountable, so much. There is very little milk. I'm talking about milk. Uncountable, so little. Okay. Minors, some and any and no. What's the difference between them? Let's look to them. Some, usually we use it. We start talking about some for countable and uncountable nouns. Okay. Some and its compounds, like what? Not only some, somebody, I can say someone or somebody, somewhere, something, okay, are normally used in what? Number one, in affirmative sentence, positive sentence. Like, there is some water, okay, uncountable and affirmative sentence, some. We have some chocolate, okay? It's what? Affirmative. There's someone, okay? Also affirmative and countable. So for countable or uncountable, we use some, but here for what? Affirmative sentence, positive sentence. Also, we can use also some in another way for interrogative or a question, but not in any question, just questions which are used to make offer or request, for making an offer or request, not in any question. Okay, would you like some tea? It looks like question. So you say, why we use some? Because this is, you know, in the form of what? Offer or offer or maybe request. Would you like some tea? Okay. Do you want something to eat? Okay, as an offer. Could I have some coffee? So request. So for request or offer, questions which are used to make offer or request, we will use some. So here, not because it's just a question, no, because this question used to make offer or request. You can here use some. Any, of course, for uncountable and plural countable nouns, this is for any. Any usually for uncountable or plural countable noun. Okay, let's study any now more when we can use any. In two cases. Number one, we use any in questions or in negative sentence. Even two cases, in questions and negative sentence. Let's look to the question. Is there any orange juice in the fridge? So this is a question, okay? It's not request, not offer, a question. So any. There aren't any chips on the table. This is negative sentence, not positive. Negative sentence. So a negative sentence and a question, we are going to use any. Now, let's start doing these exercises. Match the words with their meaning. For vocabulary, ecosystem. What's ecosystem? B, the plants and animals in an area. C, animals which another animals eat. Breed, have babies. Predators. What's the meaning of predators? A. Animals which kill and eat other animals, like lion. The National Garden is like a in the middle, because I said here in the middle. Okay, so what do you think? In the middle of the city, where many people got to get away for a while. Which one is suitable? Oasis, of course, because it's in the middle, like oasis, in the middle of the desert. Okay, every morning the soldiers, the flag. What's the suitable? Okay, raise, yes. Okay, put it high, raise the flag. Can I speak to Rida? If he is asleep, so don't what? Don't disturb him, leave him, don't disturb him. Okay, this is landfill site, or this landfill site is a health, what? You know, landfill, the place where we put waste materials, okay? So it's a health hazard, risk, problems, okay? Is a health hazard. Also for vocabulary, complete. The job requires specific skills and personal complete qualities. The in Britain has changed a lot in the past few years. Complete with the correct word. Climate. The climate in Britain has changed a lot. The blanks another way. Don't in your dreams. Keep on until you succeed. Don't give up. It's not polite, not good to what? Disturb or interrupt. Yes, of course, to interrupt people when they are talking. So you look to the suitable word, okay? Disturb, give in, interrupt, give up, praise, rise. So it's not polite to interrupt people when they are talking. Let them finish their speaking. This is not a good way. Number 3, please what? Raise your hand if you want to answer. This is for confused words. Mark the odd word that doesn't belong. What do you think here? Eagle. Yes, all of them animals, but this is a kind of bird. Here, kilograms. Very good. All of them are names for geographical features, but this is for measurement, kilograms. For grammar, this time tomorrow. Here I have a specific time. This time tomorrow. So which one? Will be playing. Yes, future progressive. We need some milk. Okay, I will buy. Yes, spontaneous decision. Okay, I will buy some on my way to home from work. If our favorite team wins the match, here you have if, and with if, which tense? Wins, present. If our favorite team wins the match, what will happen? Dad will take, yeah, type 1. Dad will take us out to dinner, something normal. 4, do we have sugar left? What do you think? Question, so any. Do you have any sugar left? If I wear you, here you have if, but here you have the past. Where? So I what? Would take the past, yes. If I were you, I would take the car. The means is too far to go on foot. So it's difficult to be you. I'm just give you advise. 6. I bought 2 t-shirts and a tie. And a tie. In the second sentence, tie is blue. So the tie, because it's mentioned for the second time. Now in between brackets, they will be working at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Make it negative. Negative means not. They will not be working at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Number 2, she will do the washing up after dinner. What I want? Make yes, no question. Will she do the washing up dinner after the washing up after dinner? So this is how can you make it question. Okay. And the last one, do as shown between brackets, correct the verb. Here you have if. So what do you think? I will look at the second part. I wouldn't, the past, I wouldn't accept. So if I were, the past, if I were you, advice, I wouldn't, or opinion, I wouldn't accept. Type 2. This time tomorrow, special time, we will be traveling to Jeddah. This is future progressive, special time. Okay, so we come to the end. Thanks a lot, and I hope you understand and you enjoyed. Thanks a lot.